Well, good morning. Today we're going to go and photograph something special. Let's go. Alright, so we've made it to this location, and it's a local jetty here where I actually grew up, and where we used to live is actually not too far away from here. And the reason why I'm here is because my mum has been put into a home, you know, within the last sort of 12 months with pretty severe dementia, and meaning she's losing her memory pretty bad. It's such a cruel disease, and it just gets me upset thinking about it. It's so annoying. But the whole reason for this photograph is this place and the jetty here really represents a lot of the time that we lived in this local area. As kids, we would play out here. Mum had catamarans that would sail the bay around here, so there's a lot of meaning in this location. So I've been told that what I need to do to help Mum's memory is to put pictures up on the wall in her new room that mean something to her, and this was the first place that came to mind, this location. So that's why we're here today. We're creating memories, particularly for my mum, and hopefully this will remind her of a place where her kids grew up and a place where we spent lots and lots of time in this local area. So look, a couple of things about the shoot today. There's not a whole lot of cloud around. It's not probably the most perfect conditions, but that's okay. I actually want to catch more of a blue and yellower tone. I think would be better on the wall for Mum, not something so contrasty, just with those simple color palette. I'm looking out there at the heads, so that the heads to Port Stephens where I live are really, really important to this location and really, really iconic. And I feel like maybe what I can do is I might try, and I don't do this very often, is create a bit of a focal blend. So I'll make the heads a little bit bigger in the frame, because if I do get back and shoot this scene with a wide angle lens, the heads tend to be really, really small in the background, and they get lost, those mountains, you know, the opening to the harbour back there. So anyway, a few things to play around with. Let me find a composition, we'll get set up, and I'll talk you through what I'm thinking. I tried a few compositions from the ground and wasn't really happy, so I decided to fly the drone. Doing here, I'm just actually taking a few manual exposures of the jetty. You can see we've got that sun coming up now, which I kind of like. Normally I wouldn't like that, but because there's not much cloud in the sky, and I actually don't mind that bright highlight there, just adding something a little bit extra to the frame. So I'm just getting my underexposed shots now. And I really want to underexpose this to hold back that detail. I've got to go right down to get nice detail through there. And I'll blend all these together. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take another zoomed in shot with the ground camera. So I'll just get one for the shadows back here now. Just opening up that shutter speed. Beautiful. We'll get one somewhere around sort of the mids there, so it's clipping on both the shadows and the highlights. You can see the shadows are still clipping there. Oh, that's a better one for the shadows there. You can see the histogram on the left there, not clipping anymore, so let's get our shadows there. All right, and I think that's all that dynamic range that we need there, and that should be fine. All right, so here's the idea. While flying the drone around there, and I noticed how good the shot looked from up on top. It was really, really good. It was a lovely angle, put the jetty right in the foreground. But as I mentioned, even with the drone, the wide angle shot, it's the heads out there just look so far away. It's just incredible. So what I've done is I've put my 24-70 on here, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot a bit of a panorama of the back of the heads there, and I'm going to use that to blend into the background of the drone. And I think that might make for a really cool sort of, it's because you got to remember, the other thing is Mum's eyesight isn't that great now, and she often forgets to put her glasses on. So if the heads are this big in the background, which is a really prominent feature of here, you know, that could easily be a big problem. All right, so we're all set up here to take our background shot now. I could have done with a slightly longer focal length. I've got 70mm, 61 megapixels, it should be fine. I can always upscale the background in gigapixel once I crop it down, but look, I think it's fine for now. So I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to take 2 shots, just getting a bit of that horizon line and a bit of the mountains there. And I'm just at ISO 100, 1200, f11, plenty of depth of field there. And actually what I'm going to do, I'll just put that 2-second timer on. Let's do that, 2-second timer. So yeah, 1/250th, I think that's fine. Let's have a look at the histogram. Maybe slightly under. So you remember when you are exposing, you want to expose to the right hand side of the histogram without clipping those highlights. That part of the luminosity range is, especially in your raw file, there's more data there to play with. So when you're adding contrast back. So you can see I'm exposed to the right there, f11, 1/125th, and I'm just going to take a couple of shots of that. So there's one, and I'm just going to loosen off the base there, and I'm just going to come around, take another one at that. And given it's only 3 shots and I'm zoomed right in, I'm not too worried. I'm actually going to take that boat in as well. I think that's kind of cool. And that'll be it. That'll be the 3 shots for the background there. If I move that back around so you can see, so we've got, and I'll just merge those together. I think that'll be fine. 1, 2, 3. Well, I think that's going to be really, really nice. I'm really happy how those frames look like they've come together. I love how the jetty is like, or the wharf is like prominent in the foreground with that drone shot. I just felt like getting down low, and the jetty just gets lost in the horizon line with the wide angle lens, and it just wasn't working out. So getting up in the air, I think, was the right move. And then taking those 3 panoramics for the background, and hopefully I can merge those together into something that'll be a nice, memorable print for Mum, because it is all about that jetty. The jetty is the memory there, and the heads is complementing the jetty there, and that'll mean a lot to Mum, I think, framed and put on the wall. So I'm gonna spend a little bit of time here, hanging out for a bit, and then I'm gonna go and grab a coffee and get back on the computer, and we'll have a look how I put this one together. I'll talk to you soon. Hey, how are you? Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Yeah, can I just get a decaf double shot flat white, please? Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Good morning world. All right, good people, we're all coffeed up and we're back here in the light rooms. Let me show you what I'm looking at here and what the photographs were that we took. So here's the ones I took on the ground. So 1, 2, 3, and I merged them into a panorama like this. This is going to be the background. Obviously there's a bit of cleanup to do there. Must have some sensor dust going on. A bit of a banana bend in the horizon, which I did fix as well in Photoshop. And then basically it was a matter of the steps to get to the final photograph was taking this sort of base exposure, blending it with this underexposure, really underexposed image here, which you can see pretty much didn't have much clipping in the highlights at all. There's a tiny bit of clipping up there, which I could pull back. And that's the key, is you really want to make sure you're totally underexpose that shot when you've got these really bright highlights and you want to blend them together. So what we did is we took the blend of these 2 images in Photoshop, so this one and this one, and we removed the background and added this background in. And here's the final photograph. I'm really happy how it turns out. If you have a look at the background here, it still looks really natural, blended really nicely. I love how it's come together. But the most important thing, as I spoke about, was if you have a look at this shot, look how small the heads are in the background. Because of that wide angle lens, they're really not dominant in the frame. So being able to use those 2 focal lengths, well, even 2 different tools, 2 different cameras. One's actually from the drone, obviously, and one's a shot from my mirrorless camera. But you can see what it's done. It's just given way more emphasis on that background there. And I think that's gonna be really perfect and achieve exactly what I was hoping to achieve from this. Now, you could argue the bright highlight on the water, maybe I should have shot it a little bit earlier before the sun came out, but I'm actually okay with it. I'm happy with that. It just adds another bit of interest over here on the left-hand side, which I think is kind of nice. And I think for me, the feeling of this image, I want that feeling of when you're looking at it, like that warm sun is, hitting you in the face, and that warm tones are really what draws you through the frame. And I think this does it. And you could argue you may not like that highlight, and that's totally fine. But I think for what I need for Mum, I think this is perfect. I actually really like how this come together. Now the other thing that's a really nice bonus, two things, is we've got a single person here on the jetty, okay, which is really nice, and we've also got these extra little birds around the place as well, which I think just add that extra little bit of coolness to the shot. Anyway, that's it. I think I'm really happy how that turns out, and I think this will look lovely as a nice little print on the wall in Mum's room. All right, good people, that's it for this one. I will give you an update on that print at the end of one of these videos over the next few weeks once I get it printed and hung on the wall in Mum's room. So stay tuned for that. But do two things for me, okay? The first thing is, if you've got your parents still alive and they're around with us, give them a call, go and see them, spend some time with them, because you just never know. You just never know. Show them some love. And if you don't, then find the next closest family member and give them a big hug and tell them you love them. It's really important. I think we get so caught up in the world today and we forget those things. So do that for me. And the second thing is, remember, photography isn't all about the photos, okay? Photography is about creating memories and having experiences, and that's really what it should be, your focus, while you're on this thing we call our photography journey. All right, guys, if you like these videos and you're enjoying them, please show me some love. Leave me a comment below. Give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, think about subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. My next goal is 5K. We've cracked the 1,000, so really happy with that. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for your support. Peace.